Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. Our big focus this hour. Hindus are being targeted and brutally killed in Bangladesh. We saw the horrific lynching of Deepu Chandra Das, a 30-year-old Hindu garment worker who was beaten to death by a mob on the 18th of December 2025. His body was hanged from a tree and set on fire over unverified blasphemy allegations. Days later, another Hindu man, Amrit Mondal, was beaten to death by a mob in Rajbari district. And now a recent report by the Human Rights Congress for Bangladesh Minorities, a Bangladesh-based organization that documents atrocities against religious and ethnic minorities, highlights a deeply alarming pattern of violence which is fueled by blasphemy accusations. The report warns that blasphemy laws and allegations are being weaponized to intimidate, persecute and collectively punish Hindu communities. In fact, there is a modus operandi at play here, where several Hindu youngsters have been killed by mobs after similar cases of unverified allegations against them. Let's in fact now take a look at the report that has documented these details and the modus operandi of these targeted attacks. So we're going to of course speak more about those and show you what really the contents of this startling report are and the reasons being cited by this report as well. So this is this report and its contents. At least 71 cases of attacks on Hindus were registered between June and December 2025 in Bangladesh this year alone. This is what HRCBM is saying in this report. Shocking details, of course, emerging. Meanwhile, also incidents of targeted violence have occurred across the country, in more than 30 districts, in fact, in Bangladesh. Also, cases have been documented in several regions, including Rangpur, Chandpur, Chittagong, Dinajpur, Khulna, Kumila, Ghazipur, Tangel and Sylhet. These are the districts in Bangladesh where these attacks have been documented, which show you that it's not just concentrated in one place alone, but in multiple districts across the country. Also, these are not isolated events, but part of a growing pattern, the report is saying, of targeted violence against minority communities within Bangladesh. Also, more than 90% of the accused in such cases belong to the Hindu community. That is what the report is saying. So the report, of course, is saying this. A large number of victims are minors aged between 15 and 17 years. That's, of course, what the report has said. Also, in several incidents, students have been booked under cyber security laws as well. Meanwhile, also in some areas, violence has continued even after the accused have been taken into police custody. So even if this has happened, the violence has not stopped, it's of course continued. Also, mobs have attacked Hindu homes and shops, raising serious questions about the administration's ability to ensure safety as well. Also, first an individual is accused of blasphemy, then police often respond promptly. This has been the modus operandi. Also, this report says that a significant number of cases have originated from social media platforms, particularly Facebook. That has spurred some of these assaults and attacks as well. Meanwhile, complaints have been filed against posts that are either fake or uploaded through hacked accounts, but then violence follows. They're not verified, they're not fact-checked at all. Several cases are registered based solely on verbal allegations without proper verification either. This is the disturbing pattern that has, of course, emerged. Meanwhile, in further news coming in, if we can go to the next slide, even as law enforcement intervenes, large crowds quickly gather at the scene, leading to outbreaks of violence at the spot, or a lynching which has been orchestrated by a mob. Although the allegations is made against one person, the mob attacks the entire Hindu neighborhood, entire neighborhoods being attacked. This is what happens in the mob violence, of course, in Bangladesh. This is what the report is claiming and exposing, of course, the modus operandi, the pattern that unfortunately has emerged in these last few weeks in the country. Razakul Haider Chaudhry is joining us live. He is a freedom fighter of the Liberation War 1971. and president of Brigade 71. Mr. Chaudhary, appreciate you being with us on NewsX. What do you make of this report and its explosive findings?
Thank you very much for just allowing me to join you. You see, from the very day, that is from the 5th August of 2024, these Jungis, that is terrorists, they attacked more than 3,000 houses of the Hindu minorities. Even they demolished more than 1 lakh houses of Awami League followers and their business houses. This Jongi, they want to make this country. Actually, we fought in 1917 for a secular and democratic country. But in 1975, when they killed our founder father, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, from that very day, they tried to turn this country on the religious basis as Pakistan was. But we the people, we are still fighting money to retain our constitution, that is which was formed in 1972 November. Our main principle was a Bengali nationalism, secularism, democracy, and socialism. This was the main basis of our constitution. But from the very day they killed our Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the whole society, they made it. They tried to make it Pakistan, Afghanistan, or Iran. You see, this Dipu Das, he is a poor guy. He was working in a garments factory. He was accused that he spread some propaganda against Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Yes.
But he had no Android phone. He had a button phone. Then how can he make this propaganda through a button phone? On the other hand, these Polish people take him on his custody, and they handed over him to the mobs. Mr. Yunus just established a mobocracy in the whole country. You see, about more than 2,000 people, Awami League followers already killed. 112 people in the jail, they have killed in many ways. So this whole country has no rule of law, no law enforcing agencies. These mobs, they don't care.
That's what's happening, Mr. Chaudhary, and why we are, of course, worried looking at this, because as you are saying, there is no follow-up action by the police. But why is this disturbing pattern emerged? Because these are not isolated incidents anymore. It's a pattern. It happened with Deepu. It's happened with other Hindus as well after that. And they all seem to be connected. Why is this happening? Who's behind it, Mr. Chaudhary?
Because the very day Mr. Yunus took power, he created a culture of fear, fear here. A culture of fear. If anyone who opposed him, he had to face the terrorism of his followers. Now, you see, these women cannot go out of the house, but they are assaulted, they are insulted on the street. If I am a freedom fighter, I think more than 100 freedom fighters have been assaulted in different areas of the countries, different places of the country. This is happening there. They want to make it Iran or Pakistan or Afghanistan. However, the people are raising their voices. They are going to. I think their followers not more than 10 to 15% with them. Almost people are against it. These common people, they don't like it. These common people like us, they don't like it. They don't support this mobocracy, this terrorism.
Yes. Also, what's worrying is this report also, of course, says that a lot of the posts, a lot of the violence stems from social media posts. Now, these could be fake posts. These could be posts from hacked accounts. There is no checking of these posts. There are no cases filed to investigate these posts and who actually is putting them. And that leads to violence, not just targeting a home, but targeting an entire neighborhood of Hindu homes, of minority houses.
I think you know about Chinmoy Prabhu. He was arrested. So, the people, the lawyers of that side, they declared if anyone come to if anyone come to stand by Chinmoy, they will assault him, they will beat him This is the thing going on here. This is the thing. You cannot protest. You cannot fight in the court. You cannot appoint a lawyer.
Yes. Okay, Razakul Haider Chaudhary, my final question to you is on why no follow-up action as well, and why no action by the interim government? Why is the Mohammed Yunus dispensation looking the other way as well? What will it take for them to wake up and provide security for Hindus and minorities in Bangladesh?
The point is that
Razakul Chaudhary, last word, and then I'll get into the others. Razakul Chaudhary,
Yes,
last word.
Yeah. You see, we think Mr. Yunus himself is involved in this, all this mobocracy. All are happening at his order. Not the very day he took share of the SIP advisor. He told these terrorists they are his employer and he is an employee. So he had no control over these terrorists. Otherwise, rather he encourages them. He publicly he told all those against him should be eliminated. I mean, they will eliminate the we people. Not only Hindu, all the Awami League people, all the democratic people, liberal Democrats in Bangladesh.
All right. Appreciate you joining us. Professor Madhav Nalapat, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, also live with us. Yes, Professor Nalapat, you were wanting to come in. Go ahead.
Uday, the fact is that what is taking place in Bangladesh is an organized effort at genocide of the Hindu and Buddhist minorities. This is not unorganized. This is not scattered. This is not based on the sudden impulses of few people. This is well organized, and the target is to ensure that the Buddhists and Hindus leave Bangladesh for neighboring India. And this is what is happening there. So this is a systematic plan. Please don't think it's a random plan. I mean, mobs appearing out of nowhere, acting out of nowhere. They are all acting under a kind of a clear direction, a directive. It must be from the top that you must rid the country of the Buddhists and the Hindus, and I'm sorry to say the Christians as well. And you're giving some figures. The actual figures are in there, hundreds of times more than the figures you're giving. There is a reign of terror throughout Bangladesh, and I don't think anything is going to happen. If anything is going to stop, and I think this is the true situation that's facing this unfortunate country, and I think India needs to do something about it. We are the only country with an interest in doing something about it, and we need to do something about it. But to expect situation Bangladesh to correct itself by itself is asking for too much. You must have strong intervention, as was done in 1971, strong intervention to ensure that the people of Bangladesh are liberated from the terror of the extremists. And I'm sorry to say, Muhammad Yunus is complicit in that terror. He is turning a blind eye and making lame excuses for what is happening. It's a very well planned effort at genocide of the Hindu, Christian, and Buddhist minorities. And I think this needs to be brought to international attention. And I hope that Minister Jaishankar will, working under the guidance of Prime Minister Modi, will do so throughout the world. Because this is pure and simple effort at genocide and is not going to go unless it is forcibly stopped. I can assure you. I mean, our Bangladeshi friend has got some expectations. I have none. I have got sources inside there which tell me that this is an organized effort at removing Hindus, Buddhists, and Christians from the country, and it's going to continue until they believe the objective has been met. Let's face it, Bangladesh under this new government is now an enemy country, and India has to protect its own vital interests. And for example, the chicken's neck and various other fields, we have to protect our own interests because very frankly, Bangladesh is going down the ladder of being a failed state, and I don't see any self-corrective mechanism in play. I think it'll slip down the ladder into a failed state status, and unfortunately, it will go the same way as Pakistan and finally fragment as well. So I think we need to take precautions in the chicken's neck, for example, on the border, for example, to ensure that these violent extremists do not come through. Only the victims may be allowed to come through, not these violent extremists. Because very frankly, Uday, Bangladesh, you're seeing the classic signs in real time of a failing state
Yes.
and happening as we speak, in which people are being killed every day, and there is no documentation, there is no record, there is nothing to document that, and the figures given are just a small fraction of the actual figures of the. This is a human tragedy beyond all description, and I think it is high time that our government under Prime Minister Modi acts
Okay.
resolutely to
Okay.
ensure that the situation is corrected.
Ambassador Gauri Shankar Gupta, this report also detailing the modus operandi. This report also detailing the causes and the modus operandi by these lynch mobs.
Udaji, it is absolutely true. To me, it appears, I agree with the Professor Nalapat, that it looks like totally organized crime, where the state is collaborating with jihadi elements. The radicals are rising. You would recall a large number of radicals and criminals were released from the jails. They were left loose. Moreover, the Yunus government has collaborated with these jihadi elements, particularly Jamaat Islami, and given them a total free space in the country to spread their terror. Now, I have lived in Bangladesh between 85 and 88. And that time also there was fear amongst the minorities, but not so much. But now I believe, and I have been told by some of my colleagues, that there is a atmosphere of complete fear. People actually are always scared of their own life. People have been lynched, of course. Hundreds of houses have been burned down. Hundreds of offices of minority community have also been burned down. A large number of them have been asked to resign from the university jobs or the government jobs, and they have no place to go, because if they go to the police and report, in fact, the police goes against them and hands them over to the mob. So this is a totally an organized system of persecuting the minorities, particularly the Hindus, but also the other minorities, and what they call establishment of a radical Islamic regime in the country. So this is what has happened in 17 months since August 5/24, and we don't know what will happen in the coming days. Now Tariq Rahman has come back and he has been given warm welcome by the people. I sincerely hope that there is a fair election. Of course, Awami League has been banned and therefore there would be no inclusive election in the country. But I believe that even if BNP's Tariq Rahman comes to power, perhaps this radicalism will not spread that fast. He will not collaborate with these radicals, though he may not be able to control all the elements. But I have a feeling that that would be better for India. As of now, it is a great concern for India, and not only the radical forces, but also, some of these separatist forces, which are, based in that country and operating in our northeast, could be made active. Pakistani ISI and Pakistani army is already there. Pakistani jihadi elements and jihadi organizations have also increased their presence there. They are delivering, what we call speeches provoking and, provoking further radicalization in the country. So it's a matter of grave concern. I know the average Bengali person does not favor it, but the 10-15% who are radical, they are dominating, and there's total anarchic situation. There's no, you know, there's no remedy to them at all of any nature available. And I don't know
Yes.
whether the government of India can directly intervene in the situation.
Okay.
If so, how and in what manner that has to be considered and
Right.
decided.
Major General Dwivedi, come in here on, of course, the report, its contents, its findings, how explosive this is, how much is on expected lines, what has shocked you, what has surprised you, what now the world must do, given the fact that this report is now public. What more can India do? As Ambassador Gupta was saying, we have to wait and watch how further pressure can be applied on the US government to get this to stop.
Well, Uday, there's a saying by Mark Twain that history doesn't repeat, it rhymes. And I fought 1971 Bangladesh war and followed the country very closely. Therefore, I think what is happening today is almost the application of 1971. And that's the time when about 10 million Bangladeshis came to India, 90% were Hindus. And just to repeat the figures, about 3 million Bangladeshis were murdered by the Pakistan army, 300,000 women were violated. And after the war, I myself witnessed that Hindus were being prosecuted, but it was random instances. Now, since Muhammad Yunus has come in, he has a very clear agenda. And that agenda is three-pronged. One is Islamization of Bangladesh, change its DNA, change the culture. Second point is copy the Pakistani playbook. And that is now what you are seeing, blasphemy, lynching. This is exactly the pattern that is being followed in Pakistan. And thirdly, he's leaning on to China, Bangladesh, Pakistan, China triangle, and incidentally, I served as defense attaché in China for a good 3 years. So I quite can make out that what is happening is actually a very, very serious situation for India. Now, I think India has been rather cautious in a delusion that what is happening or Bangladesh is actually very favorable to us. Nothing very much is happening. We are so centered with western borders, Op Sindoor. But let me make 3-4 things very clear. First and foremost, these terrorists or Jangis, they are the erstwhile Razakars because they played a very pivotal role. And that time also in 71, about 10 to 15% of Bangladeshis were not in favor of liberation of Bangladesh. And same people have now reincarnated as Jangis. The second point is ISI in Pakistan has worked very diligently over a period of time. Today you have 8 ISI officers in their embassy in Dhaka, and they are actually orchestrating the network of Lakshmi Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, and these people are all getting ready to wage a proxy war with India. And thirdly, China's shadow looming large, not only the chicken neck or Siliguri corridor, there are bases coming up. Chittagong has huge presence of Chinese. Chinese has invested about $40 billion. And the Lal Morni Hat, that is the airfield very close to the Siliguri corridor, is being developed as a base. So the point I'm trying to make is that Bangladesh is slowly becoming Afghanistan-Pakistan model. This is orchestrated by Muhammad Yunus. Initially, he was doing it discreetly. Now he is doing openly. Jamaatis are calling the shots. And at this stage, it is no more Bangladesh internal affair. India's security is very much affected because, again, our division commander on the Bangladesh border. So all I can say is India cannot wait and watch. India has to become proactive. It's not a diplomatic issue. It has very serious security dimensions, and we have to bring pressure on Bangladesh economically, politically, militarily. And my last point is, the world is going to do nothing about it because Muhammad Yunus was brought in in a very systematic manner from America, and world has no concern as to what is happening here. It is India's baby, and India has to handle it.
Okay. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us. We've run out of time. We're quickly turning our focus to some breaking news now coming